Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
Where am I? Who am I?
What the hell is wrong with Tom?
I don't know, man. We just found him like this a few hours ago, just wandering around muttering.
Okay, I'll bite. Sure. Where are his pants? Obviously, he has no pants on.
That's not unusual for Tom.
Okay,
that's not unusual for him.
I can't remember. My mommy? I miss pie.
Yeah, there he is. Hey, guys.
Eli, do you know what happened to Tom?
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, see, we're going to be talking about a journalist who faked being crazy and having amnesia to report on abuses in a 19th century madhouse today on the show.
Eli, please tell me you didn't just
do not like where this is headed.
God damn it.
So interrupting, rude, both of you. So I thought, what better way to get into the mood than have Tom do a little undercover journalism of his own? Only, he wasn't interested in being committed. Something about, kids or responsibilities. I don't know. I got bored. Anyway, turns out Tom needs a lot of drugs to get to this point. But if you're determined, anything is possible.
Eli, were those my drugs?
They were all our drugs, Noah. Tom is big.
But most of all of our drugs are my drugs.
Fair. All of them, though? All our drugs?
Is no one else worried for Tom?
I think that's a lot of drugs, dude.
People die.
I think I'm okay, guys, but I don't know who my pants went, and my leg potatoes are definitely how they talk when I'm not listening, so we're going to need a new parrot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. He's back to normal, guys. That's good.
Cool.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah Lutions, and I'll be working against my own life choices to try to make sense of the madness on offer today, but since Reagan defunded the asylums, I'm not going to be alone. Joining me are two men who have never faked anything in their lives, but will be grateful for your efforts, Eli and Heath.
I'd rather fail to satisfy a woman than watch bad acting, Noah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's why Act 3 of my play had the audience interaction. You said you enjoyed it. You said you liked it.
I said it was brave.
It was of you.
And also joining us tonight are two men who could travel the world in under 80 days, but only if you tied a stick with a cake out in front of them, Cecil and Tom.
I will do that for literally any pastry. Doesn't matter.
I am tired of you bringing this up, Noah. That trick worked once. Okay, once.
It'll work every time with a different pastry, though. Guaranteed.
To be fair, I only tried it once, too. But before we really begin here, of course, we need to take a moment to thank our patrons. You don't have to be crazy to support the show, but you'd have to be crazy not to. It's only because of the generous support of our patrons that we aren't homeless or, even worse, gainfully employed. Our patrons keep us out of the warehouse, outhouse, henhouse, farmhouse, poorhouse, and madhouse.
In that order.
Most of the time. And for that, we are grateful. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, please, no, don't wait.
Would
just
it be
keep
in
going.
that order?
You just have to keep going. Sometimes you just have to plow through. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
All right. We'll be talking about Nellie Bly, journalist, inventor, adventurer, charity worker, and all-around badass.
All right. And Tom, you seem a little more animated than usual. Are you hopped up on trucker speed in the tears of our oppressors, or are you finally ready to teach us something?
I don't know why these seem mutually exclusive to you.
Fair enough. All right, so tell us, Tom, if you can stop popping yellow jackets and amyl nitrate long enough to form a coherent sentence, who was Nellie Bly?
Hey, don't judge my lifestyle, Noah. You're basically a snowman of cigarette ashes at this point. All right. So
You
listen.
say that like it's a bad thing.
Nellie Bly was about the most money where her fucking mouth is badass journalist ever. She was born Elizabeth Jane Cochran in 1864 in Pennsylvania, which admittedly is gross. The town she grew up in was actually named Cochran Mills after her father, a mill worker, decided just fuck it. And he bought the mill and bunch of land and then basically the town. Because the family that badasses together, when they don't stay together, they actually all die young, but they die memorably.
John Benet.
No.
Ramsey.
No.
The year is 2001. And a small town in Texas is known for 3 major exports.
No. So as a little girl, I'm just moving right across the top of this. As a little girl,
Sometimes you got to plow through. Like
just
Like John Benet
Ramsey.
Come on.
3 votes.
Oh boy, I don't want to read this next line. As a little girl, okay, good. There was a John Benet Ramsey handoff, and nobody took it. As a little girl, Nellie's nickname was Pinky, which is adorable. But Nellie didn't want to be adorable. She wanted to be sophisticated. So she did what people do, and she added an E to the end of her surname and dropped the Pinky moniker, making everyone saddled with a shitty middle school nickname jealous at the ease of this transition.
My middle school nickname was Pinky Cockburn too, but middle school nicknames are actually really hard to lose. They follow you throughout life, it turns out.
My nickname was Chunk from The Goonies. And as a 36-year-old grown-up, I've done the truffle shuffle thrice this year to get into a building. Fuck.
Sorry, Heath, but I'm not going to set the chicken and the balloon back up every time if I'm not going to get a chance to use them.
It's ridiculous at this point.
So tell us, Tom, when did she get her start in journalism?
Well, after moving to Pittsburgh, Nellie saw an article published in the paper titled, "What Are Girls Good For?" which prompted her to write an article in response. And although the original article and her response, written under the pseudonym Lonely Orphan Girl, are lost to history, one can safely assume her response was not to be demure, pregnant, and quiet. Her response so impressed the editor that she was asked to write an article for the Dispatch. And her new article, The Girl Puzzle, landed her a full-time job with the Dispatch. The editor created this new pseudonym, Nellie Bly, for her, which, being a newspaper editor, he actually fucking misspelled.
Wait, it's a pseudonym. He can't misspell it. He made it up. Exactly. He invented it.
He named it after a popular song and just got it wrong.
It's decided. The reason I can't spell is because everything I write is a Sudafed.
Nope. Not
Again, to which you misspelled Sudafed. It's so meta. It's so meta. I love it.
That makes sense because all of his essays should be behind glass and you should have to get permission to get them out. So it makes sense. So Nellie began her career writing about the role of women factory workers, a job that in the garbage times of the late 1800s and strangely the current 2000s was a miserable, difficult life. And as a result,
It's like Reconstruction. It's great. It's awesome now.
As a result, she was moved to cover the women's pages, which meant writing fluff pieces that no one really cared about.
The citation needed story.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. We're all here. So at the age of 21...
Also, no one listened to. That's the other thing. It's that they didn't just care about it.
Everyone who listens to the show is on it. It's a fun thing we're doing.
It's weird when 5 people masturbate at once, isn't that? Like, you think we could help each other out? I don't know.
I don't see how that's weird.
So the age of 21...
Were you not in a fraternity? All right. I guess not.
At the age of 21, Nellie pieced out to Mexico to document the lives and customs of the Mexican people. This was somewhat unappreciated by the current dictator, Porfirio Diaz, who threatened to have her arrested. So she fled home to the United States and reported that Diaz was a, quote, tyrannical czar oppressing the Mexican people. So there, Diaz.
Some of the Russian Diazes.
Okay, so a tyrannical czar oppressing the people. Glad we've solved that problem, Tom. So after this fantastic episode of experiential journalism, I assume she was given a seat at the boys' club and respected from then on for her contributions?
No, absolutely not. But I appreciate you for the hopeless optimist you clearly are, Noah.
It's true. It's true. That's what they say about Noah. Hopeless optimist. Mr. Sunshine over there.
No, say not at all. Instead, she was relegated back to the society pages, which she felt was a terrible insult because, it was. And so she said, fuck it, and she quit. 4 months later, she was broke and in need of something to turn her talents towards. So she walked into the offices of Joseph Pulitzer's paper and convinced them to give her an assignment going undercover in an insane asylum on Blackwell's Island.
I think you mean Shutter Island. They made a movie about it.
Just touching, strong and brave.
She went there to report on the suspected abuses by subjecting herself to their treatments firsthand because, badass.
Today, I learned that the prize is named after a guy. Huh.
Wait. So what did you think it was named after?
I don't know. I just assumed it was one of the prizes they make up names for, like Oscar, Tony, Emmy, Nobel.
Who let him in?
Like hurricanes?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's how they did it. We're all on the same page.
Well, Tom, this seems like an obvious and well-crafted moment to take a break in our tale and enjoy a brief interlude that we call Apropos of Nothing.
And the winner of the Pulitzer Prize for Outstanding Work in Journalism goes to Joseph Pulitzer.
Thank you. Wow. 8 years in a row. What an incredible honor. I want to thank the judges, my family, and my staff because they're all the same people. Anyway, good luck next year, everybody.
Hey, folks, just wanted to take a moment here in the middle of the show to thank our patrons.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
You make this show possible, and without you, we couldn't do what we do.
I need charts and I need graphs.
Now, many of you have inquired, when is Eli going to do his Jean-Benet Ramsey episode? And the answer is never.
Heath, where is my blonde wig?
Nope.
Never, never, not ever, never. But as of this recording, we are just $350 away from reaching our goal of a live show. And while it will not be about Jean-Benet Ramsey, we promise to tell Eli that it will be.
No, sorry, you're doing a diatribe or something. Have you seen my fingernail samples?
They're in the filing cabinet.
Okay.
Eli. So if you want to see us live, consider pledging as little as $1 an episode at patreon.com/citationpod to help make that happen. We're even going to let the patrons choose the location. Again, that's patreon.com/citationpod, because we're pretty sure he'll wear a costume.
Where is my stage blood? Hey, Cecil.
Hello, uninvited Eli.
You say that every time I come over.
You've never been invited.
So I brought that movie over.
I am still not interested in the director's cut of Dirty Dancing.
Oh, but it's our movie.
It is definitively not our movie.
Okay, I don't want to fight about this. Can I just come in? I need to change.
I'm going to ask. Just come on in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Headed over to do a little investigative journalism, so I'm pretty busy. Okay, so it's probably best I just head out, honestly. How do I look?
Oh, well, that's interesting. You going to a furry convention or something?
No, when I go to furry conventions, I go as a raccoon in blackface called Cracker. I've introduced you to Cracker. Like, I know I've talked about Cracker.
Oh, yeah, of course. How could I forget Cracker? Yeah, sure.
I'm actually going to try to sneak into a farm nearby and do an expose on the harsh conditions that animals live in.
You're dressed as a chicken, Eli.
Yeah, right? Looks pretty good.
No, it doesn't. Your costume doesn't even have a beak. It's just a hole for your face. You're a chicken with an Eli face.
Yeah, I cut that out. It was hard to breathe.
I'm just tossing out another factoid here. You're 20 times larger than a chicken, Eli.
It's cool. I'm going to crouch. See? Look.
That's not a chicken sound.
Well, that was clearly in poor taste. Well done. Tom, I believe you were telling us about someone who actually cared about the world. A view I think we can all agree is, at this point in history, almost adorably nostalgic. Please continue.
Gladly, Noah. Yeah, they were better times when men were men and women were easy to confine to asylums.
Deep cut.
Now, Nellie, it's true. Nellie said about getting sent to the women's lunatic asylum in Blackwell's Island. So here's what she did. She practiced looking crazy in the mirror, noting in her book that faraway expressions look crazy. She just didn't focus on stuff.
Yeah.
That was her thing. Then she stopped bathing and brushing her teeth.
College was fun. It was a good time.
You're still in college? That's fun. That's cool.
She put on secondhand clothes and checked into a boarding house for women. And she ranted that she couldn't sleep because she was afraid of the beds and that they all looked crazy.
Adderall is a hell of a drug.
College
was super fun. College was super fun.
Right up the schnoz. That's where I get the most out of that. Anyway, the boarding house proprietor thought she was the one who looked crazy, and he called the police. And Nellie proclaimed this moment, quote, the greatest night of my life. Interestingly, her love life not cited in this article too heavily. Just saying.
Yeah, well, she's just being cautious. Isn't the old saying, never sleeping crazy? Isn't that?
Wait, I thought the saying was 5 pumps and an orgasm are worth a crazy person bothering you forever. Is it not? But I thought it was.
You better hope so, Heath.
So once in custody, she claimed to have amnesia, and a judge decided that she had been drugged.
Oh, so she was a Stanford student at the time. Okay.
This would make some sense and might not be super horrifying if it wasn't about to get much, much worse, because she was then examined by several doctors, all of whom not only declared that she was insane, but also declared themselves lovers of hyperbolic, non-scientific nonsense. One doctor opined that Nellie was, quote, positively demented and a, quote, hopeless case. Another declared that she was undoubtedly insane. Now, this got to the newspapers, and they loved this story. They loved this story like she was a pretty white girl with a tragic backstory, because that, it turns out, has been a thing for now a really long time. And they wrote delicate and sensitive headlines for her like, who is this crazy pretty girl?
Banana.
No.
Well, the answer, of course, is all of my exes. That's the answer. And that's a universal answer anyone can use, too. So.
All right, so the good news is that she got herself locked into a late 19th century insane asylum. What was the bad news?
Well, the bad news was the insane asylum.
Oh.
So once she's inside, Nellie experiences horrors for 10 straight days. The most dangerous of the inmates in the asylum were tied together with ropes, like you do with like crazy people and dangerous things.
You guys all picturing Trump voters and Jill Stein voters just like tied together in a big angry fuck pile?
I am now.
Every time I close my eyes. Every time I close my eyes.
Plotting is a different thing than picturing, I feel like.
Now, others in the asylum.
And then I set the pile on fire.
Others in the asylum were just foreigners who were committed because no one knew what they were saying.
Oh, Jesus.
The fuck is this? Fuck is this bonjour shit, crazy motherfucker?
No shit. Make asylums great again. That's the same acronym, by the way. It's the same one.
Make assholes gape again. What game are we playing?
I think, Heath, we're playing the same game.
Yeah. We're both winning.
Yeah. We're winning
Everybody
so
wins.
much we don't even know what losing feels like.
Define winning. Now, Nellie dropped the crazy act as soon as she was committed. And she did, only to find out that the more she behaved sanely, the more she was treated as crazy. Kind of like living in Trump's America. I know, right? I wrote that joke and thought it was funny, and then I cried myself to sleep. So that's good. The women were forced to sit all day and into the evening, tied to straight back benches, exposed to the cold, forbidden to talk, beaten by guards, and belittled. You know the phrase, the inmates are running the asylum? That was literally true in this case, because some of the staff consisted of actual inmates from a nearby penitentiary.
Oh, okay, Tom. Well, that sounds bad when you say it out loud or read it, but I bet the food was the saving grace, though, right? At least they had good meal plan.
No. Crazily, Noah, I think your, shall we say, sparse eating habits would have served you well here. Rats and feces were everywhere.
Noah does love to eat rats and feces.
You ever mung a rat? Do you ever?
Absolutely. Just give me your
like
money,
all-
rat. Give me your money.
Well, no, not what I mean. It's like I guess it's just like eating a dead rat is what I'm talking about. You
Not really.
ass first. If you eat it ass first and the head last, it's like a burrito. You know how you have to angle a burrito?
Now, the guards spat tobacco all over the floors. The food, as much as it was possible to call it that, consisted of rotten meat, gruel, and dirty, unsafe water. Basically, this was a Burger King.
Mugging? Never mind. No, I thought you were going to say something else.
We can only hope they start tying the crazy at Burger King to chairs. It sounds nice.
Now, after 10 days in this hell, attorneys from the paper had her released, and Nellie wrote her expose in her book, 10 Days in a Madhouse. The horrors of the lunatic asylum were so bad, Nellie contended that the asylum itself could drive a woman mad. And she wrote, quote, "What accepting torture would produce insanity quicker than this treatment? Here's a class of women sent to be cured. I would like the expert physicians who are condemning me for my action, which has proven their ability to take a perfectly sane and healthy woman, shut her up and make her sit from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. on straight back benches. Do not allow her to talk or move during these hours. Give her no reading and let her know nothing of the world or its doings. Give her bad food and harsh treatment and see how long it will take to make her insane. 2 months would make her a mental and physical wreck."
Or a really happy Buddhist.
Or a soldier.
Yeah.
Or even a soldier.
I got a feeling like Heath is the only one that wouldn't notice the change of venue. Like it just.
But I mean, 6 a.m. would bother me. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's all fine and good, Tom, but we know that the world doesn't actually change or care to do anything when terrible abuses are uncovered. So why would any of this matter?
Okay, I guess we're just stealing each other's bits now. That's fine. Whack, whack, whack. Science. Whack, whack, whack. See?
What?
Why do I quack?
Why do you quack?
Well, crazily, Noah, people evidently used to care about stuff.
No shit.
I know, right? So after this expose comes out, a grand jury launched an investigation. Massive amounts of funding were poured into the system to rehabilitate the asylum, and changes to the way that patients were evaluated for mental illness began to take hold. Her journalism and her expose literally changed the world for the better. Again, it's so weird. Like, people used to care about stuff.
Yeah, America was great for a minute there. I want to say it was called, what was it called? The regressive era? No. No. That's now. There was a name for it. What was it? There's something like that.
Now, Nellie then set her sights on making the book Around the World in 80 Days into a reality. So she suggested to her editor that she be allowed to give it hell. She's given the green light, 2 days notice, and like all women setting forth on an 80-day, never-before attempted trip around the globe, she packed the dress she was wearing, several pairs of underwear, her toiletries, and a coat, because presumably she didn't want to pay to check a bag.
Ah, Delta. She gets it.
Yeah.
Some other lady just smashing a giant treasure chest into an overhead bin. Like, stop rushing me. The dimensions change if you turn it. They dig different. If you turn it, you can get it in sometimes. Enormous 1880s dress hitting Noah in the face. He's trying to edit on the plane. She gives birth in the seat right next to him. It's loud triplets.
Delta. Heath gets it.
Now, her adventures, they took her through England, France, Burundi, the Suez Canal, Colombo, the Strait Settlements of Penang, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Japan. She traveled using steamships and rail, and her dispatches were delayed sometimes for weeks as they made their way across the world. Her newspaper sponsored a guessing contest, a la Where in the World is Nellie Bly, and they offered a prize to the person who guessed her arrival back in New York down to the second.
Jesus Christ, the world used to be boring as fuck.
It used to be.
Holy shit. God.
Now, on her adventures, Nellie visited a leper colony in China.
Best porn tab ever. What? Chinese lepers? You don't even know.
It's sideways. They don't tell you that, but it's sideways. And she bought a monkey in Singapore.
That's the second best porn tab ever. Right
No, that I can get
Singaporean
behind.
monkey.
Put your hands together,
Love that one.
Cecil. Put your hands together.
And it's the monkey, as souvenirs goes, beats the fucking spoon collection by a goddamn mile.
Yeah, right?
Ooh, third best tab.
Yeah. Or a best friend doll made of your own hair.
If you don't like it, you can regift it.
I threw it away.
Cecil, for you didn't.
Now, Nellie arrived back in New York 72 days after she left, having completed a journey of over 24,000 miles, almost all of it alone. and setting a world record for having done cooler shit than anyone currently listening to this show.
When I was a kid, I once went to the slightly less white suburb next to ours. I was pretty exhilarating. Took me way less than 72 days.
Right.
It was faster.
Yeah, cue 6 butthurt emails.
I feel like we're
6 fans.
It's like everyone's not going to write in at once. I feel like we're burying the lead, though. You said 72 days, but which second?
Yeah.
I don't know.
God damn it. Wikipedia sucks.
Now, for her love life, Nellie later married a millionaire. And you know why? Because she fucking deserved to. And just like she deserved, that fucker died pretty quickly and left her all the money. So she took over his business, but she proved not to be a very good business person. The company folded, but not before she invented a new milk canister design, probably because she just hadn't had any patents to her name yet. So why the fuck not?
I put a balloon on the end of a turkey baster to pick up CDs for a science fair. It was pretty ingenious. You don't touch them with your hands that way. Also held a world record briefly for Break the Target, Super Smash Brothers, original N64. Just feels like she thinks she's better than me, is what I'm saying. She feels like she's bragging this whole time. She's doing all this stuff.
We should go back in time and cough on her.
Yeah.
Oh, guess I'll go back to my time and have some penicillin.
Well, after her company folded, she went back to journalism. She covered the Eastern Front in World War I and the women's suffrage movement. Unfortunately, Nellie died young at the age of 57, probably from accomplishing too much shit and running out of not giving any fucks. Either that or it was pneumonia. The record's not super clear on this one, actually. I think it was pneumonia, though.
If you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would that sentence be, Tom?
That most people make me feel lazy, but Nellie Bly makes me feel positively dead by comparison.
Yeah.
All right, so do you feel confident to face the gauntlet of Bly-based questions from our panel?
I'd be insane to say no. Insane to say no.
I'm just still waiting to
This is
say-
asylum in the story.
Is that you saying no? I
Insane
don't
to say no.
Let me start this off.
How does insane
I'll
relate?
start it off. Of all the places that Nellie stopped as she traveled the world, which was her favorite? A, Puget Unsound. B, the Straight Jacket of Gibraltar. C, Stockholm Syndrome. Or D, Carl Youngstown, Ohio.
That last one. I like that last one. Yeah, I'm going to go with it. Carl Youngstown,
It
Ohio.
was a swinging
answer.
place back
Yeah,
then
I
before
like
it's
it.
a dead city now. So
Yes.
yeah, it was great back then.
All right. Obviously, like all iconic figures, the Milky Way, Babe Ruth, and Charleston, Nellie Bly had a candy named after her.
What?
was it called? Was it A, the Nelly Belly? B, Nutter Stutters? C, Craisinettes?
Yeah.
Or D, Daffy Taffy?
Well, it's got to be Nutter Stutters because it's insulting to two different groups of people. So I like that.
Answer.
All right. All right. Well, unlike Eli's question, mine actually involves real things that were named after her. She was most famous in her time for her investigative journalism, she's most famous today as a person with a lot of weird shit named after her. Of the following actual things that are named after her, which is the weirdest? A parlor car only express train that's mostly remembered for a spectacular wreck that killed 17 people in 1901. B, Nellie Bly's old-time ice cream parlor in Riverton, New Jersey, mostly noteworthy because they basically misspell every word but ice in the name there. Was it C, the Nellie Bly Kaleidoscope Shop in Jerome, Arizona, the world's largest kaleidoscope shop, and not because there aren't others, apparently. It seems like that would be an easy title to take, right? But or was it D, the Round the World with Nellie Bly board game in which players compete to see who could marry the oldest and least healthy millionaire, I think. I didn't actually look. He was 71. She was like my age.
I'm going to go with the Kaleidoscope Shop just because I love a world where there's more than one. I want to live in that world.
Congratulations, Tom. Our format demands that you're right.
You're right.
All right, I got one more for you, Tom. Which of the following is the most popular song on the Lady Asylum mixtape? Was it A, Insane in the Membrane?
Nice.
Was it Cypress Hill? Was it B, Under a Vapor Moon? Was it C, Hit Me With Your Bestress Shot? Or D, Men Straight Outta Compton?
It's D. It's got to be D. That's great.
It is not D. It is A
different one?
Insane in the It's one of the other ones.
That was funny as fuck. Well, that's pretty embarrassing. You should all be embarrassed. Heath, you stumped Tom, so both of you guys should be embarrassed. We should be embarrassed because we witnessed the stumping. Anyway, Tell us, who's going to walk down the road to perdition next week?
Okay, well, I, for clever reasons, choose Cecil. Cleverly.
All right, and with that, I'll talk.
Cecil.
No, that sounds more clever when you say it like that.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, I'm going to toss things over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Last week's question was, what is buried on Oak Island? The winner was Penis Subpoena on Twitter with this answer. A Betamax copy of the Muppet Babies episode where Scooter gets spinal meningitis. Thanks to everyone who said JonBenet Ramsey. This week's question is, if you had to fake being crazy, what one phrase would get you committed? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, for Eli, Cecil, Tom, and Heath, we're going to call our attorney and get the hell out of this madhouse. We'll be back next week, and by then, Cecil will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can join us at Scathing Atheist, God-Awful Movies, and The Skeptocrat. You can also listen to more of Tom and Cecil over at Cognitive Dissonance if you haven't already had enough. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out our past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, if you're high right now, everyone knows and is super mad at you.
Nice to finally be alone at home. Maybe get some reading done. Eli? Holy shit, what happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Chickens are jerks. They can all be nuggets for all I care.
You're just completely covered.
I said I don't want to talk about it. No, when I go to furry conventions, I go as a raccoon in blackface called Cracker. I've introduced you to Cracker. Like, I know I've talked about Cracker.
Sorry. I was okay until he... I was holding it in.
It's that racist whistle. You can hear it. It's making its way through.
Raccoon in blackface. Where would you put the blackface?
I love that your issue is logistical.
I don't even know how it works.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
All right. I'm a fucking pro. Here we go.
This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from. So whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.